make a good play. Some themes that were coming up in the last class. A girl's writing about the Holocaust, a flashback from a character who's inspired by her grandfather. Someone else is writing about a boy in a similar situation as him, with parents going through a divorce and having to switch schools. Would it make someone feel less alone, maybe, reading your play? You know, more than just like, oh, it would be amazing. We know it would be amazing, but like really, like, what is your intention? What do you want people to feel? What might you learn as a playwright from hearing it read out loud? I'll come visit you.
When we began, there were a few blank faces, a little bit of uncertainty, maybe even a little nervousness about what playwriting entailed and what was actually required of them.
Is to see students who were looking at me with like blank faces and really struggling to understand the concept of what a play is and how a play is, you know, different than a movie or a novel. And seeing them throughout the process be really empowered in being able to not only see their idea come to life, but realize that they have the tools, they've been learning throughout this process, the tools to communicate their ideas, to capture speech, and to use certain theatrical devices in order to find the best way to tell their story.
It was interesting to see how the specific strategies that Julie, the playwright, brought in to turn that metaphorical blank page evolve into an actual script. I remember clearly one of the strategies that she brought for them was to eavesdrop on a conversation and to actually pay attention to not only the conversation but to the way that people speak. People speak differently, and that actually also helped them to create voices and characters for their scripts. So they took these conversations and they learned that there's a setting for this conversation. There are different people involved in the conversation, so they were introduced to dialogue and setting. They also learned to listen for interesting turns of phrases and keep notes on it, so that all of a sudden they didn't have a blank page anymore. They didn't have blank faces anymore, because they were actually accumulating tools that they would incorporate into their scripts.
A lot of the students throughout the process would say, my idea is just not working out the way I hoped it would work out. And that is a true dark moment for any writer or creative person. And to observe them persevering and not giving up or finding new approaches on an initial seed of an idea has been very inspiring.
I think that playwriting is a really exciting thing for students to engage with because they have to think about their audience in a really different way. Their audience is more concrete. They may get to meet them, so they're thinking about them the whole time, which I think sometimes when students especially or young people are trying to write, the audience is a bit of a nebulous thing. So for playwriting, it grounds it for them. I think the other interesting part of it is that they are writing to be heard or to be read aloud. And so they're thinking a lot about product as they engage with the process, which again is a really sort of unique thing about plays.
What I feel the value is of plays and theater, and how I really do believe that this art form has the capability of transforming lives in terms of holding a mirror back to us, the artist and the audience, in terms of having us as human beings question how we're living, how we're treating each other. Can we treat each other better? In the challenge of having to articulate to the students the value of theater, I've been constantly challenged to articulate why this art form and why I think it has value.
They have the opportunity to see the creative process, to participate in the creative process, and to come to the theater and see their stories be represented and presented on the stage. Because far too often we go to the theater and our stories aren't seen, our stories aren't heard. And this project really gave the students the opportunity to have their stories, the stories of their families, as well as their communities, be heard and be seen on the big stage. And I thought it was really important to partner with Young People's Theatre just to give students the opportunity to have access to the theatre.
And the school buses have arrived and they are coming off the buses and they are dressed up in their suits and their dresses, and some have had their hair done, because they are coming here today not just as students but as playwrights, and to see where that process has led them to this point. It's not the end, and they know that now those scripts, those original blank pages, have gotten some legs and will take on a life of its own. But it's been tremendously gratifying and exciting to watch that initial nervousness, that initial uncertainty turn into the confidence that stepped off the bus this morning.
And that they know that there's been a culmination of all the schools, all the classes coming together to have some of the plays performed by professional actors, to have that sensation of being in a theater.
Writing a play, you have to give up quite a lot. As the writer, you put the words down on paper, but then what happens to it goes into the hands of the director and the actors and into the minds and hearts of the audience. These young people have a lot to say, and they have a very clear message that they're trying to get across in their plays, and how they do that is different for each of them.
A murderer that killed 2 people escaped from prison and went back to his old ways. Officer, search the area and find him. We can't let him escape again.
Round, go with your family. We can handle this.
Now we just gotta put him in jail. Then we're done here.
Hi guys.
Who are you?
Well, that didn't go so hot. Even the nerds called me a nerd. So I guess I'm gone. This so-called perfect girl is gone.
Mom, I'm going to the mall with Julia.
I'm back at 5:45.
Fine.
Background changes to food court.
What you gonna get, Jules?
Well, I'm in the mood for subs.
Okay, well, lunch is on me. I'm getting sushi. Take this $10 bill and give me the change back, okay?
Meet you at the table, MK.
And then to know also that by having their plays published, by being part of a compilation of plays, meaning they're part of a community, their plays have the potential to live on beyond this one project. They can take them with them next year to school or to high school, or other students might discover it in the school library and get a chance to perform one of the plays as part of a drama class or some extracurricular activity. That I think the students are starting to understand that what they've put out in the world actually can have a larger impact than this one course.
I really think that the most fun part of writing this script was getting to look more at the situation, at what's actually happening.
How to speak through different characters.
Not really think about anything, let the characters take over, kinda.
You get to actually be yourself and write everything off of your mind.
Unlike a story, you always think about the grammar and punctuation, and then in scripts, you just lay it out like you would say it.
I learned how to embrace my imagination.
You get to put your imagination on paper, which was pretty amazing. That was pretty cool to me. That's what I loved about this whole thing.
Because it gave me a great opportunity for acting, making scripts, and having fun.
To have professional artists in the field, along with their teachers, along with the TDSB, along with their peers, supporting them through this process, I think is quite a unique and valuable experience.
For us, we always love working with partners and with experts in education. At YPT, we are a professional theatre, but we're also a learning organization.
And in fact, education is at the heart of what YPT does. And at both the heart of TDSB and YPT are our children.